Security deposits is another thing that we get. Security deposits come up, of course, at the end of the lease term, and the landlord is allowed to deduct from your security deposit the cost of any repairs or damage that the tenant caused, or any unpaid rent or any other unpaid fees that were validly charged under the lease. So, you know, again, ideally you want to get a receipt for what your security deposit was at the time you move in, and you want to take pictures of when you move in, let the landlord know in writing if there are any repairs that need to be done when you move in. Some landlords will do like a walkthrough with you, and there'll be a checklist that you fill out at the beginning of the lease term. And then when you move out, you definitely want to take pictures before you leave, because if the landlord charges you for cleaning the oven and you say, wait, I really scrubbed that thing down, and there's no proof, you know, it's a difficult case to make. When you move out, you want to provide the landlord with a forwarding address. The landlord then has 30 days, and you want to request the security deposit in writing. Then the landlord has 30 days to provide the security deposit or provide what's left over after deductions. And if any deductions are made, the landlord has to itemize what deductions were made. They can't simply say cleaning. It should say, you know, $150 cleaning the carpet, you know, $60 cleaning the fridge, something like that. It should itemize the exact deductions involved. And of course, for the landlord wants to protect itself and to be able to determine what damages were tenant caused versus what damages were pre-existing. So pictures at move in and move out are ideal. You know, if the landlord does deduct an amount that the landlord is not allowed to deduct, then the tenant has a cause of action for 3 times the amount wrongfully withheld plus reasonable attorney's fees. You know, so let's say, you know, the landlord only withheld $50. Well, that $50 could turn into $150, and then if the tenant has an attorney litigate that case, that could be, you know, another $1,500 or whatever the cost of that attorney's fees are. So it can get a little bit pricey. So be careful about that what you deduct actually is permitted by the Residential Landlord Tenant Act or the lease, and that it was actually for stuff that ought to be deducted for. And then the final part just gives the timeline. So it's 30 days generally after the tenant moves out and asks for the money back and gives a forwarding address. That's the key thing, is that the tenant needs to provide a forwarding address for those security deposits.